Thank you, Christina. I think that's so cool. I can't wait to see what you'll all build with it. So we've looked at AI apps, agents, but now let's shift to one more thing that's just as important, how we write software. One of the most exciting things happening with AI is that we're entering a new era that changes how software gets written. Anyone with an idea can build apps for themselves, their families, or their communities. And before we talk about Codex, we want to show you a few examples. In Japan, an 89-year-old retiree taught himself to code with the help of ChatGPT. He's now built 11 iPhone apps for elderly users. He's turning a lifetime of wisdom into tools that help others live more independently. In Spain, Pau Garcia and members of domestic data streamers are helping people reconnect with memories using ChatGPT, image generation, and Sora. At ASU, med students needed a better way to practice the kinds of difficult human conversations they'll have as doctors. So they built a virtual patient app with our models, where they can try, fail, and get better before they step into a real exam room. And at Versailles in France, visitors can now walk the palace and talk to it. They built an experience where you have a live discussion with art and sculptures with our real-time API. History becomes a conversation. It's awesome to see what people are building, and this is why we're so excited to give developers even more tools to build faster. So, earlier this year, we launched a research preview of Codex, OpenAI's software engineering agent, built to work alongside developers and speed up how software gets created. Since then, Codex has become very loved and grown into a much more capable collaborator. It works everywhere you code now, your IDE, the terminal, GitHub, and in the cloud. Your ChatGPT account connects everything so you can move your work seamlessly between your tools. We've released a ton of new features for Codex, and it now runs on the new GPT-5 Codex model, a version of GPT-5 purposely trained for Codex and agentic coding. This model is better at tasks like code refactoring and code review, and it can dynamically adjust its thinking time for the complexity of the task. Developers love this new model, and the Codex usage has gone up really fast. One of our key metrics for looking at this is daily messages, the number of tasks and conversations that developers have with Codex each day. Since early August, daily messages are up 10x across Codex. And this rapid usage has also helped GPT-5 Codex become one of our fastest growing models ever. Since its release, we have served over 40 trillion tokens from the model. Internally, at this point, Codex is everywhere we build. Almost all new code written at OpenAI today is written by Codex users. Our engineers that use Codex complete 70% more pull requests each week, and nearly every OpenAI PR goes through a Codex review. And from that, people get more depth than they'd expect, even from a very senior engineer. Starting today, Codex is officially out of research preview and into GA. And while, thank you. And while Codex already has a lot of traction with individual developers, today we're introducing a new set of features to make Codex more helpful for engineering teams. First, we have a Slack integration. This has been very much requested so that you can ask Codex to write code or answer questions directly from team conversations in Slack. Second, a new Codex SDK so that you can extend and automate Codex in your team's own workflows. And third, new admin tools and reporting, including environment controls, monitoring, analytics dashboards, and more, so that enterprises can better manage Codex. Expect to see a lot more Codex improvements coming soon. One of the things that's been really inspiring to us is to see the breadth of people using Codex. From developers building side projects on weekends, to high-growth startups, to big global enterprises. Cisco rolled out Codex across its entire engineering org. They're now able to get through code reviews 50% faster and have reduced the average project timeline from weeks to days. So for our next demo, we want to show you something fun. We're going to show you how you can use the new Codex and our APIs to turn anything around you into workable software. And for that, please welcome Raman to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. Last year, we built an iPhone app from scratch, and we even programmed a mini drone live on stage using O1, our first reasoning model. It was kind of vibe coding before we even had a name for it, frankly. But the progress since has been incredible. Codex is now a teammate that understands your context, it works alongside you, and it can reliably take on work for your team. And we thought about how do we best show you all of the cool things that Codex can now do. We had a lot of ideas, but one that we kind of kept coming back to is what about building something that we could all experience and see together here in this room right now? So that's our challenge. If you look up here, some of you might notice a camera that's mounting above the stage, and I thought maybe we could start there. And so earlier, I asked Codex CLI to create a very simple control panel interface with a very simple interface. See, a camera feed on the left, some buttons on the right, and if we can bring my laptop on screen, you'll see what Codex came up with. Initially, it did it really well, but then I also added the Figma branding from the Dev Day event so it could pull the exact colors and components to actually render it perfectly matching our design. Great, so that's our place to get started. Now, I haven't written a single line of code, but let's dive in and see what we can do on top of that. Now, switching over here to, we're going to skip this version. Skipping over here to my terminal, which wanted to update, I'm sure you can see we have Codex CLI. It's logged in with my ChatGPT account, and it's powered by GPT-5 Codex, our net new model that Sam mentioned. Now, let's start by asking this question that I'm sure many of you have not asked a coding agent before. How to control a Sony FR7 camera in Node. And honestly, I did not know how to get started. I saw there was a C++ SDK, and I thought maybe Codex, we want to use that and turn it into JavaScript. But then it had a much better idea than that. I realized that there's a Visca protocol, apparently, to control these cameras. So, as you can see, Codex can respond pretty fast for questions like this. And this all seemed promising to me. So basically, I went ahead and I typed this script over to Codex to completely scaffold an integration using the Visca protocol and wire it up to that control panel. Now, Codex is becoming harder and harder to demo, by the way, because it can really work tirelessly on your task. I've seen it work for up to 7 hours on a very big refactoring, for instance, and get it right, which is pretty outstanding. Here, if we switch over, and if we scroll back up, it updated its plan along the way, wrote a lot of code and everything, and this was the final result. As you can see on the screen, it worked for over 13 minutes on that one task, but it did everything I wanted it to do. So let's take a closer look. If I jump over to VS Code now, you can see on the right side of the screen, we also have our Codex integration in the IDE. And these are the files that the Codex CLI came up with for the camera control. So you can see it built a node server. It also figured out all of the UDP packets to send to this camera. Imagine the time it would have taken me to actually learn this protocol. That's over 30 years old, by the way. Codex even figured out that there was some very specific headers to send for this particular camera. All right, so with these UI components now wired up, the server's running, so we can take a quick look and try this. So here, if I turn on the camera, there we go, we have the camera. That's all of you, awesome. And let's try the controls. Boom, I can actually control the camera now from this interface. It's pretty cool. All right. But controlling with buttons is nice, but I think we can do something better. So I'm going to try to send another task, but live this time inside our IDE extension. So check this out. Wire up an Xbox wireless controller to control the camera. So I'm going to send this one right now. I was backstage earlier, and I found this Xbox controller. I wasn't sure who was playing back there, but I thought this could be something we could try. So we're going to leave it here. And as you can see now, Codex made a plan. Apparently, 3 tasks have to be completed. It's now exploring the file. It's figuring out how to wire up this gamepad. And what's interesting here is you can see in the IDE, we also have this concept of auto-context. And what that means is that your prompts can be pretty short because Codex will kind of understand your intent. It will see the recent files that you've used and really kind of adjust accordingly. So as you can see, we're now at task number 2. This one will probably take another minute or so, so we'll leave it run in the background. So in the meantime, what else could we do? Well, I thought one exciting interface is voice. So to save us a few minutes, I've already asked Codex to integrate with our real-time API and our agents SDK. And I wanted to wire up all of this into the app right here on this green little dot at the bottom right of the screen. But what's great about the real-time API is that it brings natural speech-to-speech into your app, but it also connects to any MCP server in the context of that conversation. And so that really got me thinking, what else could we show you in this room and turn into an MCP server? And then I thought, wait, we have a lighting system, so maybe we could wire up the lighting system of the venue over to an MCP server. So let me check out this task that I sent to Codex, but this time in Codex Cloud. So you can see here my prompt. I asked Codex to wire up this MCP server for this very specific model of lighting system. I gave it like the reference docs that I found, and I gave it the exact interface that I wanted to have for my UI to work. But what's fascinating to me is like if you look at the logs, for instance, like that's really the magic of the agentic behavior of Codex. Like I could have asked a teammate to do that, but because the task was very specific, now Codex is my teammate. And if you look at how it went through the process, it actually figured at some point that it needed to kind of find new information about command 8 to move forward. So then it went ahead to fetch the GitHub docs again to kind of really like operate and call tools along the way. And that's really the magic of GPT-5 Codex. You can really let it go off, do some complex tasks, and you'll see this like agentic behavior emerge. And then after that, I did one more turn to actually ask Codex to like include the README information so I can understand how to run it. And sure enough, here is my MCP server. Now, going back to VS Code, what's also very interesting, sounds like the Xbox task just finished. We'll see that in a moment. Awesome. And now going back here, you can see that you have all of your local, but also your cloud tasks right here inside the VS Code extension. So if I click on the build MCP server, for instance, this is the task I just showed you on Codex Cloud. And here, I can actually apply all of the changes locally if I want to test them. So I can just go ahead and click apply, and now all of the changes with this MCP server are now included locally. Now, I didn't want to let you watch me do npm install here on stage, so I just took that MCP server already and I started to install all of the dependencies to make it run. So let's now put all of that to the test. But first of all, if we go back to our app right here, let's see if we can actually control this camera now with this Xbox controller. There we go, it works. That's pretty awesome. What's funny is like I didn't even specify to Codex which button should do what, but it figured that the joystick was probably a good idea. So that's actually perfect. But let's do the real test now. Let's enter voice mode and see what happens. So sorry in advance, AV team, but we'll try to see if Codex figured this out to control the lights. Hi there. Hello?
Hi there. I can hear you loud and clear. Let me know what you need.
Yeah, what do you see on the camera?
I see a large audience in front of you, with rows of attendees seated and ready. The room is well lit, and the crowd stretches far back, filling the space.
That's right. Could you shine the lights towards the audience? There we go.
I've just lit up the audience with a nice bright wash. They should be perfectly highlighted now.
Can you greet everyone here in the room now?
Absolutely. The audience lights are up. Let's welcome this fantastic crowd. Hello, amazing developers at Fort Mason. We are so excited to have you here for an incredible day.
Awesome. Could you now do something fun with the lights and say hi to people tuning in on the live stream?
We've got the fun lights rolling now, some dynamic, colorful effects in motion. And to everyone watching the live stream, thanks for joining us. This is going to be an amazing experience.
Cool. All right, let's go back to normal now. Awesome. So I still have not written a single line of code, by the way, to make this happen. But there's one more thing I wanted to show you. Last but not least, Sam mentioned that we're launching a Codex SDK today. And so I wanted to finish up with something that gives you a little bit of a glimpse into what might be the future of software engineering. So let me go back into voice mode and try this. Hi, could you ask Codex to show a credits overlay like at the end of the movie, but this time the cast is all Dev Day attendees?
I'm running that with Codex now. I'll let you know when it's ready.
Great. In the meantime, could you start a countdown and take a photo of all of us? Oh, and there we go. So to explain you what just happened here, when I sent a task to the voice agent, it also added Codex SDK as a tool. And what that means is that now, on the fly, I can reprogram this app in real time and instantly adapt it to user needs or any kind of feedback they have. So in this case, when I asked to create a credits overlay, it was able to go ahead and edit the code inside this React app, reload it, find what it needed to complete the task, and now the credits are rolling. It's pretty amazing. So with all that, we took voice, we took a sketch, we took some devices around us, and we turned all of this into workable software. And all of that without writing a single line of code by hand. So really give Codex your most ambitious ideas, give Codex your most complex coding problems, and see what happens. I think you'll be as amazed as we are every day. The only limit now is your imagination. Thank you so much. Back to you, Sam.